was comfortable. Because what I don't tell in that video was that I had been borrowing money. That's how I had been sustaining myself. Hey guys, so a few weeks ago I went to a seminar where I was in the same room as Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, and Sylvester Stallone. Now I already did a video for my takeaways of Tony Robbins and Gary Vee, which I'll link down below if you haven't seen it. But actually the most I took away from was Sylvester Stallone. I know, shocking, right? He's probably the person I took the most away from. So that is something that I want to share with you guys. So if you want to know what that is, then keep on watching. First thing was Grant Cardone. Now, Grant Cardone, I honestly have mixed feelings about. I know he knows his stuff. I know he's like an investor. He invests in real estate. He wrote the book 10X, which is a really good book. He kind of comes off to me a little bit like arrogant and stuck up, but you know, I did learn some stuff from him. And what that was first he said the most attention product doesn't necessarily have to be the best product. What he meant by that, because his thing is 10x, like everything has to be like 10x. So like your company's quota is to call 20 people a day, you call 150. You know, like even if you piss them off, like he doesn't care if he gets bad attention. He just wants attention. That's what gets you successful. Is how are you going to sell to people that don't know you're there? And in that sense, I get it, and it does make sense. And the example he gave of like, you know, the most attention product doesn't have to be necessarily the best product was the Kardashians, which I'm sorry, is kind of true. I remember when they first come out, everyone was like, what do they do? Like they don't do anything, you know. Now it's different, but it's true. They gained their popularity because they were just everywhere. They were always in the tabloids. They were always having news and stuff about them. Even now, they're still always kind of like front of mind. And it's not necessarily because they have the best product. It's because they're the loudest. They get the most attention. So that was a great point. Another great point was if you see this guy's, you know, story and his success and everything, he has a lot of properties. He has a private jet and everything. And something I was very surprised about was that he said that he's 61. He's in great shape, by the way. That was motivating in itself. Like he took his shirt off. He's in great shape. He's 61. But apart from that was that he said everything he has was built in the last 10 years. Prior to that, he was kind of a loser. Something Tony Robbins says a lot is that we overestimate what we can do in a year, but we underestimate what we can do in a decade, which is so true. So that was very motivating, was seeing that they didn't always have that. Like that was done actually just recently, and that even at the age of 50, you can still turn your life around. And along that same note, next was Sylvester Stallone, which, wow, yeah, I learned a lot from that guy. So give you an idea of the state of mind I was in. This is the second day of the event. If you saw my previous video about Gary Vee and Tony Robbins at that same event, it was a very cheap ticket. The reason for that is because these guys show up like at 4 p.m., like at the end of the day, and they're there for 2 hours. They're there for quite some time. But prior to that, at 8 a.m., you have all these people that are just constantly trying to sell to you that are pretty awful, to be honest. You kind of have to sit through it if you want a good seat. We didn't do that the second day. The first day we were there from 8 a.m. and it was kind of miserable. Next day we just showed up and didn't care if we were in the back. But that's how they get you. They make you sit through all these people that have probably paid them to like allow them to talk so they can try to get some people to sell to. And then the main event is there. That's why you sit through that all day. So at that point I was already kind of like over it. I'm tired. I've heard already really great people. I've heard Tony, Gary, Grant. And I was like, okay, like, I think I'm done. I think we're, ready to get out of here. And then he comes on. With him, he kind of just stuck around just to see what he was about because we had no idea he spoke or even did this stuff. I just thought he was an actor, like he did movies and stuff like that. But I learned a lot. That was probably the person I learned the most from, and it was a big surprise I took away. The first thing being was that he's a writer. He's not just an actor. He's a writer. He wrote all the Rocky movies, all the Expendable movies, all the Rambo ones. He wrote the script, and even that's not impressive because you're like, oh well, that's cool, I guess. But it's not like he wrote the Green Mile. It's Rocky. It's like it's guns and shit. But when you learn how he learned to write, then you're like, wow. And he's self-taught. He used to work as an usher in a movie theater, and he was just sitting there watching movies all day. That was his job. He would just sit there, and he would record the movie, and then he would take it home and play it. He would write out the script the way he heard the actors and everything. Like he would write out everything, and then he would write his own version of his script. Like he would try to make it better, or just like a different version, like a better version of what he had just written. And that's how he learned how to make scripts. And his thing was to just do things and get them out there, which again, I completely related to that because I have a tendency to want to research and get everything right and make sure I'm ready and blah 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 and my first try to be great and blah blah. And no, I understand there has to be some form of preparation, but that also can really hold us back. And even if you do everything, your thing is still gonna suck anyway, so you might as well just get it out there. When he wrote Rocky, he was super broke and he was like desperate for money. I think he had to sell his dog or something like that, and he was selling it to a studio. It's when he wasn't like a real well-known actor. He had done like one movie, but he wasn't like an actor, you know? So they're like, okay, we'll give you this much for the script. And then he's like, okay, but I want to be the actor. They're like, oh, no, we have someone else in mind, and, you're nobody, so we just want to buy the script from you. We'll offer you this much. And it was a lot considering he had nothing and he had to just sell his dog recently. Dug his heels in and said, no, I want to be the actor in this movie. I won't tell it to you without me being the main actor. And so like, okay, fine, but you are like on a warning system, and basically like if he fucked up once, he would be out of the contract. And Grant Cardone was interviewing him, and he asked him like how does that happen? How is Rocky your first movie that you star in and everything? And then he said something very interesting. He says, it's amazing what you can do when you're forced to. The reason that this hit so hard with me was because up until this point, if you've followed my previous videos, you know that this year was very hard for me. Like financially, it was tough, and yet there was many months where I didn't really feel it. Like I wasn't like, when people don't have money coming in, when they don't know when their next paycheck's coming in, they freak out. They go like find gigs, they find a job, they find something, and I wasn't doing that. I thought it was just depression, but no, I was comfortable. Because what I don't tell in that video was that I had been borrowing money. That's how I had been sustaining myself. And I'm super lucky that I have family that would do that for me. And then when he said that, I realized like, wow, I haven't been forced to. Like I haven't allowed myself to be forced to. I know that if I need more money, I can just borrow some. And again, I have every intention to pay it back. I'm not the kind of person that would just, this is my family, it's people I see every day. Because the thing with my work is when we get paid very well, like more than you need. So that could easily be put back, but because I had that cushion, I didn't feel pressured to have to like go find something else, to find a second job, a side job, something. So when he said that, I was like, wow, I need to stop. And I did. As soon as I got home, I cut that off right away. I haven't borrowed since, and I do feel the pressure now. But I feel good about it because I know that the best things I've done was when I was forced to. So, and I hate that I'm like that, but that's how I am. You thrive under pressure. If I'm being coddled, if you give me an inch, I'll take a mile. So, yeah, the best things I come up with was when I was forced to. Like, just like how he said, it's amazing what you can do when you're forced to. So, and then they talked about his career. Now, again, as someone that does watch those movies, sometimes because I want to see them, sometimes because my grandpa loves action movies and he loves Sylvester Stallone, so we always take them. So whether I want to see them or not, I've seen all his movies pretty much. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. And yeah, he's had like his moments, and then he talked about a period of time, like a good 10 years, when no one really gave a shit about him. And then he says how he's been told no many times because he writes scripts and stuff. And like I think the last one he did, that one that he did win an award for, like the Rocky, I forgot what fucking Rocky was, Rocky 15, I don't know, but it's one where he's like an old man now and he's coming back. He said that script was turned down so much. Finally he got a yes, and he ended up winning an award. Now, if you see the movie, it's pretty ridiculous. It's like about Rocky, who's like now 60, trying to do a comeback, and technically it's the same thing. It was Sylvester trying to sell the script, trying to get back in the theater, get back in the movies. And he talks about how he's had many lives, and it's so true. He's had moments where he's been successful. He's had moments where he wasn't so successful, but to be at that age, he's 76. He's 76, and for him to still be working that hard, to still be going for it, to still getting comebacks and having a success, even though he's past his prime, I guess you could say, past his time that people cared, or past the age, or I don't know. That doesn't stop him. It was Friday night, the night that I saw him. It's 76 years old working on a Friday night like that is like, wow, very, very motivational. That was what I learned. My takeaway from this is force yourself to do something. And that's very hard. It's very hard these days with the technology we have, with the opportunities we have, and it's very easy to take stuff for granted. But you need to put yourself in an uncomfortable position. He's absolutely right. I can't tell you how many times when I was under a lot of pressure, I pulled shit out of my ass. I don't even know where it came from, but I got super creative and it just came out. I don't know from where, but it just came out. That would be my message to you guys is make yourself uncomfortable, make yourself do something that you're afraid of, that you're terrified of, and don't give yourself a way out. You know, burn all your boats and just put yourself there and just see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? Nothing. You're gonna learn, you're gonna grow. Even if you make a complete fool, even if you fail, at least you learn something and you're failing forward, better than just staying in the same place and not moving at all. If you guys like what you heard, if you like these videos, head on over to my Instagram, The Purpose Coaching. We talk about stuff like this all the time. I'm constantly taking classes, going to seminars, and sharing with you guys how I apply it, what works, what doesn't work. I'm a very open book. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.